We're doing it.
Best Frenemies. Oh boy, you better believe we made it back. This is a very special Christmas edition of the Best Frenemies podcast.
So we're not going to record another one before Christmas.
And we might do one. I'm just saying we're so irregular that we become
Do you celebrate Christmas?
I celebrate Zoroastrian Christmas. We're Zoroastrian
What's
Santa.
that?
No, it's actually, we just do Christmas, except there is like...
A virgin sacrifice?
Like Papa Nowruz. He's classic Santa. So classic Santa is like, he has like the little... He comes in a green outfit. There's a little black elf that comes before him. It's so weird. It's very... Just Google Papa Nowruz. As in the audience, not John.
Does Nova Zoroastrian follow the Bible? Like the same Bible? Sorry, I said normal, but...
As opposed to the abnormal.
Are you worried we're already going to get demonetized for all this religion talk?
No, at this point we should just aim for demonetization.
Well, you saying...
We should aim for cancel and anything else is...
Oh yeah, Best Frenemies Podcast, the podcast brought to you by Adidas, the shoe that gives you AIDS.
Okay, good work,
If
everybody.
they pay us money, we'll stop saying it.
Yeah, we'll stop saying... That's a good point. We'll hold them for ransom.
I stole that idea from Harmontown.
And Jaguar, I love their new branding. Did you see the new branding for Jaguar?
I think it's a Schroff sticker, isn't it?
No, their new branding.
You're serious?
Yeah, they did a thing. They went, Jamie, bring it up. They did this whole thing where it's like it's meant to be very like, it's all about diversity and stuff like that.
Oh, they went the Bud Light path.
Yes, that's what people... I don't know the Bud Light, but...
Oh, careful.
But what I find interesting about it is, we're not going to watch the ad, but like you can see this. The entire ad... Okay, I don't have internet out here.
Can't be reached already.
I don't have internet out on the balcony. We're doing this on the balcony, oh boy. But the entire ad is just very... Like, it's like, look, it's interesting, bunch of characters. Why did I have enough internet to, like, Google this, but not go to the website?
But do you remember the 1982 Macintosh commercial where it was like a... 1984.
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair response.
Isn't that funny? I said, remember the 1982 Macintosh commercial? I think it was parodying, what movie? 1984. I'm like, so it probably was 1984-ish.
Yeah, it was 1985. That's when they were like, fuck it. I don't know when it came out.
No, I think it was 1984. Because the whole thing was like, so 1984 will no longer be like 1984.
Yeah.
And it was like the most...
Because Apple will have solved the problem.
It was the most pretentious... It was like a great example of like pretentious advertising. And basically, you know, if that came out now, you'd be like, that's why Trump's winning. Because it's just so wanky.
To be honest, you actually raise a fair point.
Hold up. We got a neighbor adjacent. Do we continue the...
Where's the neighbor?
Oh, to your stage left.
Well, I can't see my neighbor. Okay. For those people
Sorry
listening,
to
just purely audio
wall.
only. We're recording this on my balcony. Dirty Secrets is closed today, and also we've been so busy.
Way to timestamp it.
It is specifically the day that it is closed. That one day.
When's this going to be released? We should like do predictions of like. You know, like, because it'll be released up. Hey, how about, the aliens arriving? That was crazy.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy about when the aliens arrived.
The aliens arrived. And
specifically between the weekend when Dirty Secrets was closed and then the Sunday when the aliens arrived.
And the aliens arrived and they explained the holding the ball rule to the AFL holding the ball rule.
Okay.
So
I thought you were going to say they explained the secrets of the universe, which
no,
happens to be also an anagram for holding the ball.
Very niche.
Okay,
very
cool.
niche. Trying to, like, capture, like...
Their specific market.
I think we could really make a big splash with the AFL fans.
I feel like we could throw in some AFL keywords. What are some...
AFL draft.
Okay, cool. I was going to say Collingwood and Hawthorn, but you go holding the ball and draft.
Well, I'm doing better at going viral than you are, because the AFL draft was last night.
Well, that's how much I care about and know about football.
Well, yeah, I don't really care about the draft, but as like an event to watch.
Yeah.
Much like the general public towards our podcast or vodcast or whatever it's... vidcast, but
it's a squash cast. We squash it, we crush it.
Yeah, we only show it at on squash courts.
Yep.
At squash, we only
we go to squash, we go, hey, listen to the Best Frenemies podcast, or we won't.
We have an exclusive deal with squash courts around
the
Melbourne.
the North Ringwood squash courts.
This will only be screened at local squash. I think that's knee slappingly fun.
It was knee slappingly funny.
I feel like that was a forced knee slap.
No. I'm just an easy laugh sometimes.
Which line is that?
There was the North.
Everyone can hear the train, right?
Yeah, they can all hear the train.
That's so funny that they can hear the train.
The train's gonna happen every now and then.
No, don't apologize.
No, that was. I didn't. Did you hear me say sorry? I said the train's gonna happen. It was a forced resignation.
You sounded very apologetic.
No, that's my vibe. I'm both overconfident and apologetic at the same time.
We have to have that. It's like a what's it? Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
The train.
train.
No.
Chekhov's train. We're gonna
it's
have
like,
to catch that
it's
train.
like Chekhov's train has to be like by the end of this episode we have to have caught a train. You can't introduce a train into the podcast and then not use it.
Yeah.
That's Chekhov's train.
To be honest, I imagine whether this happens with you or I do this by myself, a podcast where the location is different every single time and it's almost like in inappropriate locations as well, like we're doing in the middle of a nightclub.
I was thinking way more inappropriate.
Okay,
but I'm glad you said nightclub. No, I'm just glad you said nightclub before I could
because
say.
you were like,
well, it just
the orgy dome.
No, I was gonna say like Auschwitz or some shit.
No,
I don't know.
It's a
You know
bit
what I mean?
more-
Come on.
A bit more
Topical.
Yeah,
I
a
don't
bit more topical to what? To the topic we had for the day,
there's
which
someone
was
with
Trump.
there's a Palestinian flag across the road. We
Yes.
are in a suburb of Melbourne. I was about to say where you are, but a suburb of Melbourne.
Yeah, we are in a Melbourne suburb.
That narrows it down to about 4 suburbs.
Yeah,
we're in a
because there
Melbourne
aren't
suburbs
four
that
suburbs.
tends to have those flags
Palestinian
up.
flag, yeah. Hey, premises.
Well, just on flags, sorry.
Yeah.
Montana Papadinas. She's doing prop comedy now. She's got a this isn't a bit.
I haven't seen her do prop comedy.
She got the Albanian flag up her sleeve, kind of literally up her sleeve,
Like
ready
literally
to go.
goes, wee.
Yeah, she's got a bit about the Albanian flag. She bought an Albanian flag while she was traveling.
Okay.
She did it at Clyde. It was just funny.
Is she Albanian in any way?
Or you know what? I think she's Greek.
I
wouldn't
thought
go
so.
there.
She was, yeah.
In fact, that's what made me wonder. Like, probably should do what's it called? Forever 21. What's the DNA thing?
Oh, forever
23andMe.
23andMe. Yeah.
I said,
but also I don't know. Yeah.
I knew it was 23andMe. I just thought it'd be funny if I said Forever 21.
Here's a fun fact about that. I had cousins because Zoroastrian. In order to be Zoroastrian, both your parents have to be it. That's the general vibe.
It's like the Stonecutters in The Simpsons.
But what ended up happening was my uncle, who's very pious, so my cousins did it, and in the 23andMe, it came back with like, oh, you're part European and part like Chinese and this and that, and he was just like so fucking mad.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was so funny because he's always been like, no, we are the best.
Is it like?
It's like, nah.
It's like grandpa. Was it grandpa? You said
What?
grandpa. No,
That's my uncle.
So your uncle was. Sorry, I wasn't listening. Your uncle.
Yeah. Good.
Your uncle. No, I was just
Good
thinking.
work,
I was
everybody.
doing that thing where I was thinking of what I'm going to say after you're done.
Yeah, I'm an active listener. Did you know that? I like listen to. I actually
your love
study
language is listening. We get
No, I
it.
actually look at your face as well. I'm very attuned to the shape of your face.
all right.
So it's like I'm listening. I'm actually taking you in.
All right.
So when we die, I'll have more experiences per second than you. Because
Well, there's a premise, Mister. I want to do premises and go.
Train. Chekhov's train.
Do a shot.
By the end of this podcast, we will have to shoot a train.
No, Mr. Premise Lover
I'm
wanting to go
premises.
viral. I think if you could lose a sense, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good premise.
Thank you.
I
I got an answer.
Okay.
And it kind of goes in a little clue what we were just talking about. That was my one.
I don't remember what we were talking
Oh,
about.
wow.
Face sight. You
The
were talking
table
about
is turned.
sight.
Well, I would think, blindness, losing your vision would be a pretty big sense to lose. Not many people would go for that one.
I would not go for that one.
I wouldn't be able to look at my own reflection, which would be a tragedy.
Yeah,
But
because you'd probably be happy.
But I'm so bad at eye contact.
Oh.
I was chatting with my dad the other day, and I'm just looking down the whole time, like, my dad and I get along fine, but it's just like, I'm looking down. This isn't great if you're listening to the audio, but I'm just looking down, people get bothered when you don't make eye contact and you're chatting to them. I'm like, it'd be so easy if I was blind.
Yeah.
I'd just be like,
Yeah,
they'd be like, oh, he's blind,
suck
whatever.
shit, I'm blind.
I might just buy some, Stevie Wonder sort of shades and just sort of wobble a little and just be like, people wouldn't ask any questions. They just assume you must be blind.
Okay, I have a couple things I want to say to that. First of all, when I was a kid, my mum used to be concerned about when I was blind. No, when I was a kid, my mum used to be concerned about my eye contact levels. I've had to actually learn how to be actually have eye contact. Not that I'm autistic, but it just was I was listening. The second thing is if you were blind, would you be a blind comedian? Would that be your shtick? Would you just constantly make jokes about it?
Stick. Get it? Like the stick. Did you do it on purpose?
No.
Yeah. Nevertheless,
would that be
very
a stick?
funny.
Yeah. Would that be a stick? Would you poke around with your stick?
I think I would.
Would you ever seeing? Was it?
Well, we are in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Would I be dogged by my blindness?
Dogged.
Like seeing eye dog.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
trying to
there
do
you go,
like
yeah.
you said, stick. I'm dogged by my blindness.
That was good.
That was a cornier joke.
Yeah, it was a bit more cornea. I'd say
Yeah.
7% more cornea.
Mm.
Because cornea like the eyes.
Yeah.
Because they have cornea in your eyes.
I'm
Let's just stare at them.
just gonna do Jim for a second. Not Jim. Fuck. Sorry, that was Tim from The Office. OG.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about my answer.
What's the Australian one?
I don't know. I watched half of the first episode.
You watched some of it?
I watched.
Oh,
I was
God.
no. I wanted it to work. All right.
But
And there's
I
two.
want communism to work.
All right.
But it doesn't.
I'll tell you, there's two things I hated
Sorry.
about The Office Australia. The first thing was that one, it sucked, and the second thing was that it wasn't actually. It doesn't feel like it's in the same. I don't know, Office cinematic universe. Like Office UK and Office America are the same company, just different branches. This is an entirely different company.
Oh, I see. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? I was like, oh, they're going to say Dunder Mifflin, and they're like something else. And then also everyone, it just was very... It just felt very like, we can do it too. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can do it too. And I'm like, yeah, we can. So why are we trying to prove it to ourselves?
I heard of... well, firstly, people have pointed out to me, we've got Fisk, we've got... we still have... They're still making them occasionally, Utopia.
Yeah.
Two very Office-esque comedies. We're done. We did it.
Yeah, we did.
We did it. We
kind
kind of did it.
Ourselves,
That was that sort of awkward Office-style comedy. We've done it. You don't need to do The Office. Maybe if you did it back when everyone else was doing their own version of it, like there was a Saudi Office, that'd have been... I'll watch that.
It should have happened at the same time as everyone.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the moment was gone. It doesn't even matter if it... Oh, actually, it's good. I'm like, yeah, but why? It's good, but it's like...
Is it good?
No, but no, I'm saying if it was good, I'd still be like, yeah, but why that? That's stupid. Make something else.
Yeah.
Someone pointed out, and again, look, it's the whole... I haven't watched this. I've watched clips. I have watched clips of it. I've watched scenes from it and gone, like, got a little taste, and I'm like, no. So I haven't not watched it at all.
Yeah.
But the thing that someone summed it up was like, it's very zany. They're doing a lot of things that maybe...
Yeah, but every character seems a little bit zany.
Yeah.
Like, there's no normalness.
So at the end, towards the end of the US Office, I dipped out of that like season 6.
Yeah.
They got a bit zany.
Yeah, I heard that.
But it's a bit like how The Simpsons got a bit zany.
Yeah.
Because...
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
And yet somehow they keep making more.
But they ran out of ideas. Lisa couldn't keep falling in love for the first time, or Bart couldn't be getting bullied for the first time. They had to kind of go in a zany direction, and The Office had kind of earned that right by, we've established, now we can, that you've gotten to know these characters, we can take them in sort of different directions. Apparently the Australian Office is just, no, we're going straight into like, look at this crazy person. It's like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, it did. We watched it, so my girlfriend and I, we watched it like a little bit, and then she couldn't handle it. And we stopped it, and then maybe like a couple of days later, I'm like, no, let's give it another go. And we got in 5 more minutes, and I couldn't handle it. There was just some scene where they were looking at the computer, and they were like, ooh, look at this. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I just...
Yeah. I'm speaking of cringe, I'm just watching the person in the apartment building across from us and thinking, obviously they can hear us.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're probably texting their group chats going, some losers are recording a podcast across...
I once filmed a little Tinky Winky skit where I was in my costume, and someone pointed out that you could see visibly in the background that someone was recording me from across there.
That's awesome.
Like there was there, and then I posted a screenshot of there's just someone on their phone like taking a photo of me in the outfit doing, I can't remember. Yeah, it was meant to be a post-apocalypse world where everyone's Tinky Winky.
Okay.
And it's how to feed a human, and humans have devolved.
Have you uploaded this?
Yeah, it was ages ago.
Oh, okay.
And then Bilal was like, hey, can I borrow your Tinky Winky costume? And I was like, I just got it. And then I ended up lending him to
Bleep out Bilal's name.
Okay, you don't want to promote him? All right, fair enough.
We don't want to promote any other... bleep out Montana too. Just bleep out all the local comedians
we can't. I'm not editing this.
Okay.
They'll just think we're complimenting them. Hey, all the people that we mentioned in this podcast, we love, such as...
bloody... Hannah Gadsby.
Yeah. We've mentioned her before, have we?
I don't know.
I feel like we have.
She could use...
Hey, premise.
She could use a hand. She could use a helping hand.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the whole Melbourne Comedy Festival machine behind her at all.
I met her last year at the festival, and I was like, hey, come to my show. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of town.
Why would you say that?
I was like, fuck it. I think she's cool. And I was like, come to my show. And she said I was going to be out of town. Anyway, someone else said she was at the festival club one of those nights. She wasn't out of town. That's all I'm saying. But I get it. Someone you think is like, I'm doing my show. Is going to come up to you like, yeah.
I think she should just go no and be honest. Honestly,
If it was you, you'd be like, I hate you.
Honestly, I'm probably not going to go to your show because I'm got my head up my own ass.
And also, I don't know who you are, and I've just met you.
And also, I've seen you at nearly every open mic this year, and I know all the jokes.
Yes, that's true.
Although sometimes the open...
But imagine you're like Mr. Big Shot, and like someone comes up to you with a flyer being like, hi, are you Joel Templey?
I do.
Oh my God, come to my show.
I do weirdly sympathize with some of those celebrities who are like, oh, they were so rude. It's like, so a stranger came up to you and...
Yeah.
Like, I'd be...
Interrupted you while you were eating a sandwich.
I'd be bothered by that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah. Oh,
I get that now. Thank you
They're a
very
bit.
much.
Yeah. Well.
I'm the third wave guy.
There's a sort of, I don't know if this is, what is a premise? That's probably a premise.
A premise is like an idea that then you can talk about. I would say that's the definition of a
I've got
premise.
it. So
You got one of those?
In terms of comedy, have your parents or whomever you crave the respect of,
Yeah.
your Xenu, whatever.
My Xenus?
What's Nova Zoroastrian god? Xenu?
The Zoroastrian god is a Hura Mazda. But it's just like, it's a phrase. We basically believe all gods are the same. Who cares?
Ah.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So what's your god, huh? Is it your girlfriend? Why you don't?
Well, firstly, I pronounce it Yod.
Yod, okay.
This is going nowhere. But
Okay.
basically, I wanted to...
Well, I'm glad someone said it.
I don't know. But basically, I just wanted to nip that in. But no, I'm not coming to your show.
Okay.
See?
Thanks. Oh, after all that.
I'm on brand.
Okay.
No,
Yod's not coming to my show.
Have you ever done anything in comedy that has made the people whose respect you crave go, oh, okay, yeah. You know what I mean?
No, but...
Okay.
I reckon next festival there's going to be some jokes.
Okay.
Because my mum will come each year. She's like,
Okay.
She catches up with me. Like, we catch up during the year, but there's stuff that I'll say during the show that I won't talk to her about in person. So she's like, oh, I learned about you. And I reckon this festival she's going to be like, that wasn't for me.
I see.
All
in
the
a
other
good way?
In a way that it's maybe it's like I'm trying to find my audience, and my audience is more than my mum.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Because they must give you some cred with the, it's not comedy, but it's online doing stuff, all the restaurant stuff.
Yeah, so there's two schools of thought there, all right? So I come from, I don't know, my mum loves the fact that I have a job where someone is paying me. That's all she cares about. My dad has no concept of reality. So he thinks my job is to eat food online.
It does look like that.
Yeah, it does look like that.
It just looks like you going,
yeah, that is
as you eat.
That is 50% of the job. And
Yeah.
let no one tell you that isn't work.
Yeah.
That has been so demanding this week and last couple of weeks. But the other thing is, Dad has seen me do stand-up, and he watches it, and he's like, I don't understand what he said. Like, he speaks fluent English. He just doesn't... He's not there for... He's just never seen it. He doesn't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
He goes,
and then he turns
good.
to me, and I'm like, I don't know either, man.
Yeah. Like, no, then he turns to Artem, and he's like, do you want to have dinner? Artem's the son they never had. It's so funny. Artem Ulatas, famous local comedian.
Is it Adam's kind of like... Oh, that neighbour's been there the whole time. That's lovely. Adam has...
I can't see them, but whatever. It's okay.
Adam, is he like the friend? You know how your parents, they make friends with other parents at school, and then suddenly their kids are automatically your friends, and it's just like, this is my best friend.
Yeah, but they haven't met his parents. That's just they're friends with the kid, and now I've got to be...
Oh, that's... Yeah.
I've got to be friends with his parents.
It's kind of like, I guess, if I'm going to, stick doggedly to my analogy, that's like...
Of Yod.
That's like you guys go to school together. You don't necessarily not get along, but you're just not in the same friendship circle. But he like runs like a lawn mowing business, for pocket money.
Yeah.
And your parents hired him, and you come home one day and Adam, the guy, is mowing your lawn.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh hey, and it's like, hey, and your parents are like, hey, it's Adam.
Yeah, so you guys should be friends.
From school, you're friends now.
Yeah,
And you're like, okay.
Look, if I was to
Cool.
squint, then I'm going to say yes. That is the thing. I'm still trying to figure out what sense. Does taste
Oh,
count?
the sense.
Does taste count as one of the sense?
Yeah. So touch, smell, taste, vision, hearing.
Yeah, I would say taste.
You get rid of wow.
Because I can still navigate the world and still perform and do other stuff.
But that's really surprising because you're a food guy.
Yeah, I'm a food guy.
I bet with free hands.
Yeah. Third Wave Cafe. Third Wave Barbecue now. It's
There
no
is a
longer
cafe.
The cafe is taken out of it. It's just barbecue.
Okay.
I like it, yeah, because originally the owner, his wife wanted to start a cafe, and so then they bought one.
Women, am I right?
And then this is leading up to a point. This is leading up to a very Sharam joke that not everyone else finds funny. Anyway, so long story short, he ended up turning it into an American barbecue joint, and then finally, recently, this year, we got rid of the word cafe in the name. So now in my brain, it's the cafe of, like, have you heard of Ship of Theseus?
No.
Oh, okay. Ship of Theseus is if you replace every part of a ship and make a whole new ship out of those parts.
I get it. Yeah, no,
so now I'm like, it's the cafe of Theseus. He can start a new ship, and which one is the original cafe?
It's like how our skin cells kind of die.
Yeah,
it's like,
yet you're the Joel of Theseus.
It's...
Every 7 years, you're a whole new Joel who has to kill the old
It's that
Joels.
wanky philosophy shit that people in...
It's not philosophy, it's science. or some wanky science.
No, it's
shit.
philosophy. It's like it's the same as the river running. Like the river is never the same because it's like that's
Yeah.
our river, but no, it's never the same river because the river's always flowing.
So I do think, and I don't know if this is true, but I feel like there should be a word for if there isn't, a word that should innately be a noun and a verb. So a river should be a noun and a verb at the same time. Like
To
love
river.
is a verb. Yeah. Like love. I love you,
Love
Joel.
changes
Like
everything.
from a distance. You know what I mean? I love
but where
you far
use river
away.
in a sentence as a verb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So well, that's a bad example, but love's a good example.
You know, you're talking to an English teacher, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Who have you taught? Huh? Give me.
Mostly Colombians.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. You got that joke about it. I do like that joke.
Yeah. They're not all. What is that? They're not all Colombian. Some of them are Colombians from Mexico.
Yeah.
Some of the Colombians are from Ecuador. There's one Colombian named Van. He's from Hanoi. He doesn't speak much Colombian.
It was quite funny. I did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
That's-
Can I not to do bits, but I could tell. Can I tell you one that was working on?
Not only tell me, but tell the train if you can hear it.
Hey guys,
Audience.
I'll tell the
At the end of this episode, the train will shoot us
I'll
because
tell
that's
the-
Chekhov's train.
I'll tell your neighbor. I feel like it's Chekhov's neighbors. I've talked about the neighbors, and
They will join
It would
in.
be hilarious if I said, "Oi, what do you think?"
Tell me the bit.
Oh, it's like okay. I'm convinced it's just too much thinking, or it's just not that.
That's all right.
I just want to give a shout. This is the joke. I just want to give a shout out to my best friend today, 10 years sober. My dog Tilly, she's 12.
Oh, okay. So I can see why you'd overthink it. I think it's
Too much
enjoyable.
maths.
No, I'm a numbers guy. I like numbers and jokes.
It's like so. I was
Yeah,
feeding my dog
you're-
alcohol for 2 years.
Yeah, I didn't find that part funny.
You think it's like animal abuse, kind of a bit uncomfortable?
No, it's just like so the dog was drinking from birth.
Yeah. See, the fact that you have to unpick it means it's not funny.
Yeah, there was that. I was like, okay, so the dog was drinking from birth. So was the dog? Yeah, but
Was the dog like a drunk from birth, or was I like?
yeah,
Was there straight away and it's a bit? I think animal cruelty comes into it too.
I didn't think about animal
It's like
cruelty.
you're feeding a baby
Animal
dog.
cruelty's funny.
You're thinking about a baby. You're feeding a puppy alcohol.
Yeah. You're like, congratulations, my friend is no longer alcohol free. It's my baby. My baby is.
Oh, how
now
about my
sex.
friend is? Jesus, what the hell is that?
It's a baby. Speaking of babies, there's a baby out there.
Jesus, I said Auschwitz is a train. Is a kid crying?
Yep.
It's all coming. What?
What were you gonna say?
What was? I don't know.
You got distracted by a baby. Would you ever have kids?
No. But hang on.
That's a new premise.
No, how about
This is the premise episode.
my best friend doesn't drink anymore.
Yep.
She died.
That's easier. That's so much better. Yeah. Congratulations.
My friend
Yeah, she's been sober
finally
for 7
stopped
years.
drinking.
There you go. She's been sober for 7 years, but it helps because
Sober
she's been.
sober for 2 weeks.
Yeah, she's been dead for 7
Died
years.
in a car accident 2 years ago. Fuck.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, what were we
Try
talking?
that. Try that.
What was we're talking about
Premises.
sense so taste. Bye-bye.
Taste. Yeah, I think.
Most people say smell because they think farts and bad smells.
Oh, actually, no. I forgot about smell.
Because smell though.
Yeah,
is,
no, 100%.
Smell-
Smell.
But smell is integral to memory.
Is it?
The smell part of your brain is very close to the memory part of your brain. You'll notice that smells trigger memories like no other sense. It's like the other day I was at
Interesting.
You'll notice Knox Private Hospital. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
that one? I was there for reasons that I don't want to go into, Sharam. Anyway,
Okay,
and then
I was never going to ask. I don't care that much.
I'm too funny. The doctors wanted to study me.
They were like, "Oh, he's so funny. Let's bring him to Knox."
The doctors saw that Instagram story where I wrote that dog joke, and they said we got to bring him in because
Yeah,
this is
'cause
just
he's
so impossibly,
How did he think that was funny?
unfathomably, medically inexplicably funny.
Yeah.
But no, I was there and I was in the elevator.
Oh yeah.
But there was
going up.
Going up.
Going up. Finally, you felt like you were going up.
I'm
in
kind of
life.
just yes-anding you with that one.
Yeah.
Going up, baby.
I was thinking we could yes and each other more
Anyway,
in this
but the
podcast.
smell in the elevator
Yeah.
reminded me, and this isn't a joke going to someone farted. I'm serious.
Okay.
The smell, I don't know what the material, whatever, it smelled just like the London Underground.
Okay.
And I was transmogrified, transported.
Because someone had farted at the
Yeah.
underground. Yeah. No, I relate to that a lot. I have a lot of those weird things. Salmon for me, but I don't know if it's more like the taste of salmon. Reminds me of Germany. Germany.
German backpacker pussy. Because fish.
Yes.
Fish. I don't know.
I've never once in my life, I have to be very
Okay.
clear. This is a confession time with Sharam.
Oh,
I've
God.
never once in my life ever thought
Oh.
a vagina smelt or tasted like fish. jokish.
I
can understand where other people would
say
that.
I'm just going by the 8 tails,
Yeah, but I just feel
blind man walked into a fish market. Hello, ladies.
It just feels like one of those jokes that someone made once and everyone goes, "Oh, that's so funny," but it was like one of the first 3 jokes humans had ever made, and it's like, I've never found that funny or interesting.
Well, he was like the alpha of the group,
and everyone was like, "Oh, I'm trying to impress you."
Yeah, he was like kind of like Tony Soprano, and the other guys like Chris and Paulie and Pussy are all Pussy from Sopranos.
Okay.
How about that?
I haven't seen Sopranos, but yeah, okay.
But Christopher and Paulie and Silvio are walking off going, "Hey, I don't really get Tony's salmon fish pussy joke," and he's like, "Yeah, just laugh along with it, huh?"
Okay. And then
I don't know which character that was. But
that's all the characters. But
yeah, it was
Germany,
actually
half a flocken. That's what I ate. It was half a flocken. Smoked salmon and spinach. Half a flocken is like a really finely refined oat. Like, so you basically make like a porridge with smoked salmon and spinach.
Yeah.
And it's very nutritious and it fills you up and you just feel like you don't want to eat anymore. And I eat that all the time, yeah. The train is carrying a gun. It's carrying Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, it sounded like a cowbell. Like.
Oh, okay. I really hope you, the audience, could have hear the train, because otherwise you think we're just going insane every time.
Yeah.
I think you
can we
hear the
guarantee
train.
they can hear the train?
I don't know. Next time we'll make a train noise.
Well, you can see if the sound spikes when there's a train.
That's true. Next time I'll be able to tell.
We should try saying really offensive stuff when the train passes by.
Hey, people in the audience, do you listen to this podcast? If so, leave us a review.
You doing an ad?
For the love of God. I'm trying to...
Okay.
Who sponsored us? No one. That's a good
Adidas.
Premise. I would like... Yeah, Adidas. Let's do negative sponsors. This episode was also sponsored by...
Toyota.
Because...
They're the car that crashes if you use the brake pedal. The car just explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode was sponsored by Kmart. They have child labor something.
Yeah, and Kmart and Toyota, if you want us to stop saying this shit, Adidas, like at the start of the episode, just give us some money and we'll stop saying it.
Yeah, cool. But we will keep saying it.
I hope it. Well, not only is a train, I've got a very itchy throat because I have allergies. So I hope my throat itching isn't getting caught on mic.
The fact that I didn't know doesn't mean that they.
Have you noticed me doing this a lot? You can't really. Sorry to the audio listeners to
go. Yeah, nah. Is that allergies because of pollen or because of cat?
Pollen, probably.
Okay.
I think.
You're just a fragile person.
Here's the premise. Did anything happen to you?
Oh, we love premises on this.
Anything happen to you that just defines you for the rest of your life? Like, let me elaborate a little. It's about cats. Basically, everyone thinks I have an allergy to cats. And I think I've convinced myself. And look, let's be honest. I'd rather not. Look. Here's what happened. When I was about 6, there was a cat at my grandma's place. I think it was next door neighbors, and it jumped up on my lap, and I kind of just held it close to my face like it was a toy, and rubbed my face, and then my eyes got itchy, and I rubbed my eyes, my face blew up like I was having an allergic reaction. And it's like, oh my God, Joel, the cat. And since that time, and also I'm asthmatic mildly, so I get a little bit, if I'm like rubbing I'd sleep over at my mate's place when I was a teenager and he had a cat and I'd be on the floor, like basically just like snorting cat basically. And I'm like, oh, of course it's Joel's allergy. And I was like, I think I just had a couple of bad moments with cats.
Yeah, it might just be a psychological.
Yeah, I just think, because even my girlfriend Lana's like, oh, Joel has a cat allergy. And I'm like, I don't think I do. I think I've just got a bad reputation as a cat person.
No, I understand that. I've had a lot of those where I've realized that here's one thing that wasn't a definitive moment, but I have been trying to write jokes about it, where it's like I've realized because I'm colorblind, I have a over...
Oh, should I be holding it like this?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. I have a overdeveloped sense of shape, if that makes sense. Because I can't see color as much, for example, I consciously I've developed a habit where I trace things in my mind. So I actually have a really hyper advanced sense of shape and stuff. So that's why I've done a lot of graphic design in my life. It came from when the other day, my girlfriend was like, hey, let's go for a walk. And I put on my colorblind glasses and I realized when I was looking at some flowers, I didn't have to trace the shape of the flowers in my mind in order to fully identify the flowers. And how much that part of my brain was finally resting because I was wearing the glasses that helped me see color. The joke is something like, whenever I book a diversity lineup because I can't see color, I book people by shape. So that's
So
so it's like so
racism out, body shaming in.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it was more like that's why you don't see more than 2 bald guys on a lineup because I don't want to keep.
Have we talked about how I find it weird how you pronounce the word bald?
Yes, we have. Yes,
Okay.
you've mentioned this before, but
You say bold.
bold.
Like-
Yes, I
like
say
it- like-
I say it incorrectly, despite the fact that it's my word. So
Why
I
do
get
you
to
say it
how-
incorrectly?
Because it's my word and I get to say however I
Okay.
want. Anyway, point is we went to the local cafe and I put the glasses on and I actually didn't realize how much race wasn't actually going into my brain. Like I was seeing an Indian person, I was like, oh, that fucking person's actually like, oh, I see this. It's like I get racism now. Because it wasn't like this people's skin color just wasn't having the same impact in my brain as much as that other people was affecting their brain maybe. Like the color perception. Like I literally looked at my girlfriend and I realized, oh, she's not as anemic.
She's not black.
No, she's
Get
not.
out of here.
Yeah, but I realized like I was like, oh, she looks healthy, and I didn't notice that because I can't see it as much, and it takes time because I haven't seen the color for
Okay.
most of my life. It actually takes time for my brain to adjust to it.
So you think your shirt is like probably a Ukraine flag right now?
People have always said, "Hey, that shirt that you're wearing is a Ukraine flag shirt," and I go, "Oh, that's good." But I
Well,
go, "Yeah,
because that's what
maybe."
we think you think it is.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, he's colorblind.
Yeah, because everyone.
He thinks it's the Ukraine flag.
Yeah, but if people don't know me, they go, "Oh, that he must be colorblind because he wouldn't be wearing a Ukraine flag."
I
Is that
think
what
if
you're
you went
trying
to
say?
a pro-Ukraine rally, they'd see the effort.
Yeah.
They'd be like, all right,
like
that's
he's
cool.
colorblind.
I don't know. Like, what color are your colorblind glasses?
Well, you don't.
How would
see
you
them.
know?
I think they're an orange.
Isn't that funny? You'll never know the color of the thing that helps you see color.
That's it's.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, what color do you see? Describe red to a blind person. Do it.
The opposite of blue.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, you solved me there. You've solved the
The
problem.
color of blood.
But if they're blind,
Are they blind from birth?
yeah, they're blind from
Oh.
birth. They've never seen color.
Well, you know, why? I wouldn't even mention color around them.
Blind person.
Well, because you know it's a bit mean.
Yeah.
Be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Everything's.
I've thought of this. It's like feel a table and imagine you could. Well, if you feel a table, you can then say that's a square, so that you at least anchored it into something. Then you can say, now imagine the table is angry. That would be red. Imagine the table.
I was thinking
is
like
calm.
heat.
Yeah,
hot.
you'd anchor it into something else.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've done a lot of graphic design, and I remember when I first properly saw green, I was like, oh, green is fucking calming. I understand color theory now. After all these years of painting and understanding things logically, it's 6.
I got you. I had.
Yeah.
Don't bring up the time. I'm not. Don't make it sound like.
we need this to be timeless. I
Well,
get this.
okay.
Timeless podcast
Well, yeah.
without trains telling you the time has passed every few minutes.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, that
Comes for us
that
all.
kind of timestamps this pod because it's from a time where there were trains.
That's true.
and we
there
didn't
are
just
trains.
teleport.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about anything else that
People-
has been related to the
People are
going
going to listen to this in 2643, and they're all just teleporting.
Like, lol, look at they had trains.
Yeah, trains. Bit problematic.
I can't believe
Trains.
yeah, didn't you know trains were innately and like they were
Everyone
racist?
knows just being within 5 kilometers of a train gave you cancer.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
thought it was food.
Yeah.
It was trains the whole time.
Like the metal they made trains out of. What was it? Iron. Ew. Everyone. You know they discovered that iron gives you cancer in
That's why we
2030.
removed all the iron from our blood.
2300. Yeah.
2300.
That's why we don't have blood anymore. That's why we
Yeah.
got rid of blood.
That's why we're plasmoids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I've
why we-
often thought about that.
That's why we live in space. Speaking of senses, what about this? Do you like horror films?
Yeah.
The technique when you watch like scary movies is to hold. If you hold your ears, you don't get. Have you done that? You don't
No.
get. Well, you don't get scared.
Well, I'm not super scared by horror movies.
I
My
am.
girlfriend is.
I
She's
can't,
fucking
I am. I'm
terrified.
hopeless. I can't.
Interesting.
But I'm not like it won't ruin me. It's just
Yeah.
it's like my girlfriend wanted to go watch Talk to Me.
Look at us, a couple guys with some girlfriends.
These
Living the
women.
dream.
The old ball and chain. She wanted me to go to Cinema Nova, and you know,
In a
obviously,
fun adventure date.
bloody had to go to
Connection and moments
had to
together.
go to Brunetti's first, obviously.
Yeah,
Then yeah,
which you wouldn't have done without her because you're an uncultured swine.
but she said, oh, she wanted to see Talk to Me, the one with the hand.
What?
It's the Australian horror
Oh,
film.
okay,
And they the hand makes them see dead people. It's stupid, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to spend a night money on going to a film that I'll just constantly be like, that. It just doesn't.
But you held your ears.
No, I didn't go. We
time.
watched it at home. We bought it on. It was cheap on YouTube. But basically, she said, "Oh well," and it occurred to me as well because I've done this before. If you cover your ears and the sudden shifts in sound that make you frightened, not so much the visuals.
Interesting. I'm going to tell Ruth that.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, but that's the whole point of seeing a scary movie.
Is to be scared.
Is to be scared.
Is the joy.
And I can't think of the analogy. It's like taking something to stop you getting a boner during porn. It's like that's the whole point, to get aroused.
Unless you're like more there for the story. Or
Yeah.
you're watching it with your girlfriend and she's just like, I want to watch this, and you're like, well, it's cheaper at home, but I guess I'll.
Isn't that interesting? But it's it's kind of a funny analogy of like, oh yeah, what's the point then? Why
It is
would
an
I?
interesting analogy.
Maybe it's just interesting and it's not funny, but it's just like, but it made me wonder: are deaf people? If that's true, are deaf people into horror films?
I feel like you need to ask a deaf person that. I
Yeah.
feel like by your logic, yes, but also it's like your cat thing. There's a psychological response. It's like you're just covering your ears and you go, oh, my senses are dulled. I am safe. But if your senses were always dulled, you'd
find
maybe,
other senses would be heightened.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So maybe my visual of the clown jumped out and stabbed the person. That would actually be heightened more, and you'd be like,
Do you know what I do? When we're watching a movie and Ruth is scared of it, I pause it when the monster jumps out to show her the monster and be like, look, it's a dumb person in a costume.
Isn't
Look
it
how dumb
funny
that
we
is."
do that? Like, why are we doing that? It's like the whole point is, no, it's not really.
Yeah, it's called suspension of disbelief. You're not looking at
Yeah,
it
but
going, it's real.
That's so interesting because it's like we
Your
spend
suspension of disbelief is less.
so much effort spent on. No, don't worry, it's not real. There's just out of shot. There's a guy holding a boom mic, and there's a guy eating a souvlaki from the catering.
And then in 3 minutes later, they're going to be like, cut, that was shit.
Yeah,
do it
I know,
again.
but we wouldn't. Do we do that for? It's funny how we do that for horror and scary films.
Yes. Well, have you not heard, what is it, Disney's formula for theme parks, everybody? Hello? It is...
I was checking. I was still in the shot.
Thrill equals... Oh, danger plus safety equals thrill. So there's the danger of what's on the
That's
screen.
the episode title.
Yeah. Danger plus safety equals thrill. All right, cool.
I don't know.
Danger plus safety equals pod.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but there's the danger of the thing that's happening. There's the safety because you're a participant, and that creates thrill.
Right.
You know?
Because a roller coaster is only scary because you think you might die.
Yeah.
Kinda?
Yes, sort of. But you know you're safe. Or
Yeah.
at least the people who find it more terrifying don't believe they're safe.
Yeah.
Well, I go on a roller coaster and I think, hey, if I die, this is out of my
You know what they
control.
should do on a roller coaster to make it more intense is you have to take your valuables with you.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Like you have to have them in your. My girlfriend did that at Brighton Pier in London. She left her iPhone. She had her bag and it was just open on the roller. She was like, oh shit, my bag was open. She didn't lose anything, but it would have gone straight into the fucking English Channel.
See, that's more thrill because it's danger plus or less.
If they because they got the box. Well, I've seen clips where they do that where the guy says, just let me. It seems like it's a bit loose. Let me just check, and he's already pressed the button.
You go.
So yeah, okay.
Or there's a new Donkey Kong ride where it's on 2 tracks, so it feels like the thing you can go, where they take some of the tracks away to make some jumps. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you're actually on the bottom track, but they remove the top track to make you feel like you're doing.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a Nathan Few episode where he does that. The Halloween. He does a scary thing, like a haunted house, and they go into the haunted house, and then one of the actors breaks character, and like the lights come on. She's like, "Hey, I accidentally I touched one of them. I wasn't supposed to touch one of them. I'm so sorry." And then the manager who comes is like, "One of our staff members, she's actually got a disease where she's not supposed to touch people, and she accidentally touched you. So now we're gonna take you to." And they take them out into a van and like close the van as doctors, and they're like doing tests and shit. And the boyfriend's like seething. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" His girlfriend's trying to be calm. It's like, "It's okay, honey. It's just, I'm sure everything's fine." And then they go like, the doctor's like panicking and shit, and the doctor starts fighting with the nurses, and the ambulance screeches to a halt, and the doors open, and it's the host of the show going, "How scary was that?" If you've seen that, then you're like, yeah, Joel, you're just explaining the episode.
Yeah,
but still,
and if you haven't seen it, you're explaining an episode.
Yeah, I've ruined it.
And you got to be there for it.
Yeah, I've ruined it and bored
people. So here's a fun question, because I've often thought about this as well. It's like,
wrap it up in 3 minutes or so.
If danger danger plus safety equals thrill, often people say comedy equals
tragedy plus time.
Yeah, tragedy plus time, I guess.
So that means, go on.
Yeah, but I have a theory about that, because from my background in relationship coaching and life coaching and stuff like that.
Has to say every episode, do a shot, everyone.
Yeah, because people say, oh, time heals all wounds, but time did not. From my understanding, I used to say time does not heal wounds. Time gives you more chance to heal wounds, like to digest things, to process things. So realistically, comedy equals tragedy plus healing is my theory. I don't think you can really make a joke about that you haven't processed or digested in some way. Otherwise, you're just reliving your trauma, and the audience feels that. They're like,
interesting.
Oh, you really actually hate your mum, as opposed to, I know I hate this person, but I'm okay with it.
Or it's too, it's like, I think
people say it's too soon.
Yeah, I think that's not to say you were being long-winded, but like,
no, I'm long-winded.
In a long-winded way, you're just saying it's basically too soon.
Yeah, so I'm not saying comedy equals tragedy plus time. I'm saying comedy equals tragedy plus healing.
Yeah, but I mean not too soon in the sense of like, you know, like, oh, you're making a joke about Gaza or some shit. Like you can't, like, you know.
Yeah, but if you healed it, like.
But no, but you mean like a personal thing, like, oh, we can. That's cool that you're making that joke about your dog or your grandma or your auntie or whatever. But the audience can feel that you're not.
Yeah, you're actually sad that your dog died.
Oh, I've got an example of that. I made it. My grandma's got some health issues right now, and I made a joke at a gig on Tuesday, sort of an idea. And even as I'm saying it, there was like 6 people.
Yeah.
It's not but I could feel like, you know, it was funny. I think it's a funny idea.
Yeah, you probably thought it was funny, but there's probably something about
still,
it.
I'm not. I'm kind of like going, and that means she's like that.
Yeah, because you're still figuring.
Because I'm like, I don't know if I should be saying this.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, how do you expect to make fun of the mud if you're still in the mud?
Yeah, well, it's a classic example of, you know, I've watched videos of myself making the jokes, and it's like, you know, they think I feel weird saying this, so they feel weird.
Correct.
If you can sort of go, be the shepherd.
Yeah, exactly.
You can be like, no, it's cool, it's all right. Like I made a couple of clips this afternoon of a gig I did, and I can see, yeah, I'm really selling the sort of, yeah, I know, I can't believe I'm saying this either, guys, but just, you know, go with me on this. Yeah, and they're sort of buying into it more. But other clips I've seen where I'm like, huh? Oh, no? Okay, sorry. You should just fucking go all in.
Yeah.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah, but you have different relationships with different audiences. Sometimes it's the space.
Weren't we supposed to argue this episode?
Yeah, these are the premises I wrote down. Actually debate something.
We kind of did.
Yeah, we sort of did, but the whole podcast has been best frenemies. And we've been above average friends.
I think there's been I think we were talking about with the, you know, the senses being dulled and heightened. I think if you listen to it, people sense the simmering animosity.
Oh,
we just secretly, but because we started on that, like, well, our expectation is like we're gonna be like chucking each other off the balcony.
Yeah.
But actually, one.
I hope you can hear that.
One more for the road.
Choo-choo.
But actually, so we think, we're being pussies, but actually people are hearing it and going like, oh, no, there's some...
To be honest, I think this podcast has brought out the fact that you're
all 3 episodes? How many?
Yeah, this maybe fourth or fifth episode has brought out that deep down, you're actually the happy one, and deep down, I actually have more dark.
I think that was going to be the... I thought that might be the twist in 400 episodes.
Yeah, but we figured it out. And done.
We should ask the one person who listens to this what they think.
Yeah, hey, one person.
Well, actually,
what do you think?
We've actually got
do you love us?
I think we've got more listeners today. We've got the next door neighbor, the person up there on the roof.
So what you're saying is we actually quadrupled our audience.
That's my argument is your idea to do them in public is a great idea because we could say like, you know, it's like
we do a podcast. People love that.
It's like watching a sports event at the pub. It's like, it's just one TV, but it's like 500 people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very smart.
Suddenly we've tripled our audience. We can hand out business cards and say, hey, are we friends or are we best frenemies? And then on the back it just has a QR code.
I think we should give out blank business cards.
Yeah.
And they will remember the interaction of us handing the business card to them, and they will project... That experience will be projected onto the card.
I think on one side it should say setup, and on the other side it should say punchline.
Yeah. That's
just as good as that one.
Yeah. 100%. And I think on that note, we should talk about Donald Trump, baby.
Oh, yeah, that was the premise.
Yeah, we not. Are we really? No, who gives a shit?
Henry Yan raised a
bleep that.
Raw Comedy 2023 winner Henry Yan.
Bleep that.
A very interesting point. There's the animosity. He raised a very interesting point.
If you bring up the comedy industrial complex, they'll start to get animosified.
Vanessa
Amorosified.
It'll become real.
REEL. Real.
Yeah. and become Instagram real.
Parramatta Reels.
He raised a very good point. Trump has only won against a woman, and when he versed a man, he lost.
Yeah, that's a pretty good insult.
That's a
But
very interesting
the problem
insult. No, I think insight.
well, but you could say that to him and it would piss him off. But none of the Democrats would have. They'd be like, that's wrong. Trump would say that to Trump. You know what I mean? Yeah. He would say that to Trump. Trump would say that.
Actually, very funny.
That's the kind of thing he would say to Trump. But none of the inner sort of centre-left liberal American liberals. I'm saying liberal in Australia. That's confusing, but American liberals, they're all like they've watched The West Wing and Obama and think, no, all we need to do is we need to be honourable and righteous, and they've done it twice now. It's so funny that they did it again. Basically, it was. I mean, I'm not being very edgy here, but it was just so funny that 2016 was exactly the same as. Well, it's just not a. It's not a new take, but 2016, 2024, 8 years later, it's the exact same mistakes again. It was very amusing in a terrifying way.
Well, the other thing I think is also like he works better when he's a bit the underdog. So the fact that he was the president and he had to maintain it, it seems like he did better because he was like, well, I've got to get it. Like, people are against me.
My mate who follows American politics made the point that incumbents everywhere are getting their asses kicked, so it wasn't very, even if...
Who? Incumbents?
Incumbents.
I've never heard that phrase before.
You're insane? Like people the people in power, the person who's in power, they're all losing. He reckons Albo is in trouble next year or whenever it is.
Interesting.
Because it's just the incumbents everywhere are getting their asses kicked.
I've heard people say that Pauline Hanson is on the rise.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very interesting. And I'm very...
What do you mean?
As in, like, I've had people who are like, Pauline Hanson's crazy, but in today's modern society, she's less crazy. And I'm like, this is a very interesting topic that I haven't thought too much about.
That's a very good take, though, with, like, the only person who would have the balls to make fun of Trump for losing to women both times would be Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. That is a very funny...
Only Donald Trump would have the balls to say that to him.
Yeah.
But no one else does.
And he would use that to insult himself while no one else would really do that.
And we don't, I assume, given you don't know what incumbent means, know anything about US politics, but I think
a little bit.
If I had to say one last thing, the problem has been that they just haven't been able to... They've been trying to high road him these whole times. Like, oh no, we're gonna be righteous and we're gonna be honorable. And it's like, you gotta get into the mud, man. Yeah, and you gotta get a bit dirty.
Or what's gonna happen now? I'm very curious about when he actually becomes president. Will he follow through with a lot of the stuff that he's said he'll do, or will he be even able to? And I know if he isn't able to, he'll blame other people, and it won't be his fault.
It'd be funny if he just. Because he's a bit of a... It'd be funny if he just went woke. Wouldn't that be just... It's just funny if he just suddenly, day one, he's like, oh, we got to do more about climate change. And
he's like, fuck it, let's do
what?
That the whole
it's
time.
Like, yeah, we got to do about... And yeah, that'd be very funny. Like, he just... Yeah. He starts taking the knee before every speech. Just that'd be very funny. But it's not going to happen. But
hey,
anyway.
we've got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we better. Yeah, I got to go.
I can't remember what. But I can't remember that thing that we were going to say at the end of every episode. Was like,
are we friends yet?
Yeah. Hey, Joel, are we friends?
Hell no.
Oh, okay. Well, you were meant to say something funny. Yes, and
oh, right.
Hey, Joel, are we best friends yet, or are we
best friends yet? I'm not an improv comic. Sorry.
All right. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Please tell all your friends about this podcast, and if you don't have any friends,
hi, Sharam's dad.
Is that your own? No, it's not my dad. It's my girlfriend's dad.
Your girlfriend's dad.
Maybe we might get a second follower if he sends this to someone that he knows.
Thanks to the guy on the rooftop next at the apartment across the road for listening.
We also want to thank, who did we say? Adidas,
Toyota, Kmart, and Toyota.
Yeah, our anti-sponsors. And if they do sue us for defamation, they can't because this is parody.
That is parody.
All right, we love you very much, and make sure to love yourself. You are listening to us live.
Google incumbent.
In the future. Okay, bye.